Alright, should be, yep, we are recording. Yay. Now let me do this, because we have got a new update in Going Medieval. Cues originally provided by Tinsley PR. So yeah, Bandit Camps and Ambushes, which some of this will not impact the save, because I've been using peaceful mode, so I don't have to deal with raids. Yeah, I'm sorry, some of it is I just don't want to have to deal with them. The other is I do feel that certain elements of it are probably not quite accurate for what the time period would have been, but whatever. In any case, they're off. But one thing about, because Bandit Camps and Ambushes, you expect, hey, there's going to be stuff here can't take advantage of. Yes, some, but they do also mention in the patch notes that the developers are considering making a change in the future to allow peaceful maps to have to still have raids be triggered. Just a moment. Took a while for it to finally hook in. OBS finally hook into the game. But beggar events and loot stashes, and obviously the quality of life improvements, those should still be present. Visiting other maps should still be present. The raiding camps and settlements, possibly not. Bandit camps, sort of. Ambush event, I don't know. I would assume not. So bandit camps will appear on the region map if I open it up, and I will, because they are now treated as factions, but there will not be raids. And also, in theory, I will not be able to raid. Well, maybe I will be able to raid them. I'm not sure. But visiting other maps is just, hey, I can go over somewhere and I'll see a custom event, well, a custom map for it. And I'll be stuck there until I leave it. When sending out a caravan, yeah, there's a chance of them being ambushed. Loot stashes are things that you can find, which are basically their own secondary map. And you can be told about them by beggars. There's other ways as well that you can gain the information. But if you visit them, they will be either puzzle or combat stashes. Puzzle stashes are just figure out how to get to them. Combat stashes are there's a bunch of wild animals you gotta deal with. So, yeah. In theory, both of those I should be able to experience, even though this is a peaceful map. Alright. That should not be on. Turn that off. Yeah, okay. It's 25 I want to make sure I have. And forever and forever. No one should be starving. Just eat. It looks like he's doing that right now, so. Why did I not move that one? Huh. Alright. I'd like to see this finished before getting to that. Okay, so they will want to be under. So just do that, and that will make the campfires all happy. Don't know about these. Okay. there, and in theory I can also put them in there, especially because they can just walk through these things. Okay, yeah, these like being outside, so. Alright. Start looking at the region map. Okay. Any of these? Nope, doesn't seem that any of these are bandits. Yeah, so what do I want to do with this? Do have other things to talk about, but I'm just focusing on this first. Oh yeah, I should mention that. So, one unfortunate thing about doing these recordings. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot I'm doing that. I want to actually put walls. I want to replace those doors with walls. The heck? That should not have done that. Why did they not come to the merchant stall? What the hell? You should not be over here. Yeah, I wonder at what point we're gonna have trapdoors, by the way. Like something that seals off the ladders. Because I don't think we have those yet, do we? In theory, it would be in this area. Come on. There. So yeah, one thing that's unfortunate about when I record these is it's later today, like in 5 hours or so, that THQ Nordic is going to be having its digital showcase for this year, which is going to show a few things, including The Eternal Life of Goldman, an unannounced game as I recall, but also the release date even for Titan Quest 2. It's like, I actually really want to know that. But I'm not even going to be able to... I can't even talk about it. Hopefully it's soon, because as I've said, I will likely leave this and start using that for streaming, because I do intend to buy it, even though there's so many things that have me concerned about it. But it's... I enjoy Titan Quest 1 enough that I want to... I'm interested. I haven't been completely turned off by what I've seen. Concerned? Yes. Completely turned off? No. And so hopefully I will be able to enjoy it, and I will be complaining. I'll be giving my criticisms on the Steam forum for it, because I won't know a better place to do it. I really do not know why they're over here. I'm saying this is legitimately where they're supposed to be, and it's like, nope. Oh, yeah, that's right. I could move that over here. I don't want to. but is that they are just completely in the wrong spot. Okay. Wait, what? What? That I get the whole having the conversation there, but why would it be like, hey, let's talk? Okay, now I don't want to do any business. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. So you're also supposed to be able to, if you just give them stuff, that will get you, that gets you a chance of being given information on a loot stash. Of course, you need to have stuff you're willing to give, but, you know. With that many. Sure. Okay, I just got rid of a bunch of stuff that way then. And that was all. Okay. So yeah, I don't know, we'll just see what happens with the, THQ Nordic thing, and hopefully I will be able to find the time to do a write-up on that. Because remember, this is Friday for me. It'll just be later today. And hopefully I won't have long to wait for the release. No, just those. There. Since I am interested, I want to be able to start complaining about it quickly. It will be interesting if I am able, if I do start doing that. I don't know. I want to be able to complain about Titan Quest 2, but I am a little curious to find out how many. If I do start complaining, as I said, it would be largely this. I want to play Titan Quest 2, not Path of Exile. It will be interesting to see if I'm making those complaints, how many other people may share that with me. Alright, yes, that's over here. Yeah, I'd rather not. I just don't know why I'd want to attack them. I mean, I likely can. I don't see a need to. Why is that now on? Oh, you know what? I'll bet. No, I wouldn't do it. I was about to say it might be that they just needed to get materials, but no, that would not explain it. Okay, so now this should be fine. Components that would be under crafting, so let's just pop that up. What the hell? This is sitting there. Can somebody please take care of that? You know what? Yeah. Hey, at least it does mean that the news from that, even if I'm not able to cover it, will already be out by the time this video goes live. So, yay, good for you. Other thing they want to talk about that I wonder if YouTube will be upset with me that I'm going to be criticizing it. Is that apparently YouTube has decided that it is going to apply an AI that will look at your watch history and figure out if you are a minor or not, in theory. Yeah, so it'll look at things like how old is your account, what kind of things do you look at on your account, and from that we can tell if you're an adult or not. I in theory, yeah, but let's also be real. This is creepy. This is completely them just more actively invading your privacy than you may realize they already are. But it's also, what happens if they get it wrong? Then you can provide a headshot to prove how old you are. It's like, so they're trying to build up a database of what their users look like. There is nothing about this that is good or healthy. I think that's exactly what it is. And do you think they will not then feed that into an AI system for, like, doing deepfakes? And not necessarily in a, oh, well, now they'll be able to deepfake you. Well, technically, yes, but I mean that they would be studying how humans appear. Which in one way would actually make sense, because there are certain facial recognition, and I assume also deepfakes, that there are certain things that they struggle with, primarily non-white people. Which I'm pretty sure that's just because the way it's been happening for so many years is it's predominantly been white people doing it, so that's what they've been working off of. And it's also, I mean, this is one thing that, it's kind of like the whole, you go to another country or somebody from another country comes to you, they're like, you all look the same. That's a very real thing, because we learn the different, especially facial cues and details, like shape of cheekbones and such, that we recognize those for those similar to us. But once you're suddenly somewhere else, you can't see those. It's part of how, I've mentioned this before, when I worked with, I think one was Chinese, one was no, she may have been Chinese as well. Actually, yes, it sounds right. They were both Chinese. 2 Chinese women, both of them, if I had to guess their age, I was off by 10 years. Both of them. And it's just, I don't know the cues on their face for figuring out how old they are. AI does that as well with facial recognition. And it's very likely for the same reason that I struggle when just looking with my own eyes, is I don't know those facial cues. And if you have people like me then programming to find those facial cues, well, it gets a lot harder. But YouTube would just be collecting all that and suddenly have a great database of faces that they could feed into AI and then sell that product. Or use it to do deepfakes and so, I mean, there's nothing about this that seems good to me. I'm trying to, yeah, it's, as I also put in my notes, this is an obvious invasion of your privacy. It's also, even without the whole, oh, well, they're just trying to figure out your age. Oh, they're going to be doing other things as well. They're going to start predicting things such as what is your sex. Based on your watch history. They will be looking at, they'll probably be figuring out politics as well, political alignments and such, so that initially it might be to target ads, but potentially it could also be targeting for other purposes. I mean, there is nothing about this that will be healthy, that will be good. And it's also the whole thing with the whole, hey, we're going to be taking your picture to confirm your age. Recently, I think it was last week though, maybe it was earlier this week, that there's something called the T app. I don't know. Where apparently women were able to go in and basically say, hey, this one guy that I know, he's a real creep or something, and start complaining about them, which, this is toxic behavior. It's also not a really good thing, but it's exactly a thing that I can't believe that will happen. Well, women had to prove they were women by putting, had to prove their identity by, taking pictures of their driver's license. Yeah, it turns out that data wasn't properly secured, and that's all out there now. Yeah, it's not good. And Google's saying, hey, we want you to do the exact same thing. We want you to give us, I mean, true, it's not your full driver's license, but we want to have your picture. We want to have all the normal information we have just from you having a YouTube account, which is a Google account. There's nothing about this that's a good idea. Nothing at all. Yeah. But there's also... So I personally, I don't log in. I am only logged in on, when I upload a video. That's it. I do also have on a new channel that I've been using. That I actually do logged in. I look at a whole... Yeah, I do uploads, and it's just because I do uploads frequently enough, I don't want to have to be logging in. It's also, I only access it on one system, so it's staying logged in isn't too big an annoyance. But it's I do that. There's one thing that I will look at when logged into, because it's a stream, and I'll comment in there. And then there's another that's basically I just don't feel like logging out for that, but I could. There'd be no reason not to. In fact, when I watch it on a different system, I'm not logged in. Not only that, I in fact will use a private tab, so that YouTube is not getting any watch history on me. And it can't even predict from one day to the next, because it doesn't have the tracking cookies, the tracking information from before. Okay, that's what I do. Why? Because I genuinely, it's not just the whole, I don't want Google having the information. No, it's not just that. That's part of it. But it's also, I don't want the algorithm trying to tell me stuff, because it's probably wrong. And it's not something where it's like, oh, well, if I give them more information, I'll get... No, I have no reason to trust it'll get better. I know the stuff I want to look at, I'll just look at it. That's how it works for me. I'm fine with that. And it's also like, I don't let Amazon track me as well. So I do various things there to avoid that tracking. Now it's like, oh, well, we expect you to do it. It's like, no, I actively avoid this. But in theory, this could be used to lock me out of certain things. So it would decide, oh, well, you must be a minor, so that means that we're not going to let you view certain things unless you give us more information. It's like, no. I mean, as it is, I don't look at age-gated stuff because I'm not logged in. I don't feel like logging in. It also has the benefit of, that way, EA put out a new video for Battlefield 6. It's an age-gated video, understandably. And it's like, okay, well, if I'm not logged in, then I know I'm seeing that age gate, and I know, okay, share a link, don't try embedding it. But yeah, this is just... There's also the issue of, because as I was saying, the whole it being able to track you, but it pulling out more information than just your age, that is very much knocking on the door of social credit score kind of stuff, where it's like, oh, well, you said this, that means we're going to deny you service here. And this is not in America, but it is happening in other parts of the world, like China does that. And it will be like legitimately, oh, well, you said this, we're not going to let you buy this stuff at a store then. It is really insidious stuff. Yeah, that's already high. They need to change this system so heavily. No, what is why? It's why. There was also another thing about some of the algorithm stuff is that I would not necessarily align with certain algorithms very well. Like, I mean, this is pulling me away, but I will I can give an example before long. So one of the things is that I've built up a nice movie collection, I think, and television collection. Now, some of it's like, yeah, the television probably be easy to say, oh yeah, this guy grew up in the 90s. That would not be difficult. But sometimes with the movie collections, it's like, well, I'm just buying the movies I like and I know are good movies. So like one recent purchase I did, Tootsie, and Mildred Pierce. So in Mildred Pierce, you have what would be very accurately described as a feminine noir story, feminine noir movie. Okay? And in Tootsie, it's cross-dressing comedy. Cross-dressing romantic comedy. Which makes it sound weirder than it actually is. Yeah. So it's like, what is that gonna... that should confuse the hell out of most algorithms. Except for the whole, they were both Criterion, and also, they're both just very good movies. So it's like, oh, this person just has taste. Damn, it's annoying that everyone is just working at it. They need... I'm sorry, it's just... this is one of those things where it's like, no, you have an emergency. You should be able to just say, hey, everyone, take care of the emergency now. It shouldn't be we'll take care of this task, which, by the way, can apply to anything. That is not how this should be working in the least, okay? I am getting so pissed off by this. It's enough that if I were at this company, I would legitimately argue, you know what, turn all of them off. Until we change this system. Turn them all off. But people they've gotten used to crap. We're going to make it good, okay? We're going to polish this turd, then we can give it back to them. We're not giving them just turds, okay? Fix this now. Because it is just so nonsensical. So absolutely nonsensical. Anyway, but yeah, so I can believe that some of that if now that order was Barnes and Noble, so I can believe that would not have been okay. Looks like that took care. And Barnes & Noble doesn't really seem to be doing the algorithm stuff. At least not like Amazon does. Just another reason why I'm happy. I give them my business. But yeah, and it's but it's also like a more recent order, and this would definitely be a 90s, well, possibly 90s thing. It's like I ordered the complete series of Family Matters, which is a good show, easily for me to recommend. But also Justice League seasons 1, 2, and Justice League Unlimited, which would be seasons 3, 4, and 5 of Justice League. Ordered that, which all of that would be growing up in the 90s. I also ordered the nice set of Christopher Reeve Superman movies, which I think I may have mentioned recently. Which that together might be Superman 2025 recently came out, so he's just doing that. It's like, yeah, because I didn't like Superman 2025, I want to make sure this good stuff is in my collection. And also currently what would be considered the best set of the Star Trek films, the original cast Star Trek films. Which that, I'm not sure that would feed into the algorithm. But, yeah, it's just... Some of my purchases would confuse algorithms, and you know what? That's probably the reason why I don't really want the algorithm involved. I want to just buy what I want to buy, and not have anything being like, oh, well, that means this. It's like, no, it doesn't. Just... That's not how that works. At least not for me. Okay, I also want to turn these off. There we go. But yeah, it's the social credit score stuff, though, does... I know that's what a lot want to turn towards, because it is a way to, in a targeted manner, adjust people's behavior. Where it's like, oh, wait, if I do this, then I'm going to... Well, yeah, if I do this on YouTube, then that means I have to now give it my picture. Or, oh, they now have my picture. What is that? I mean, it's just... Or more so it would be a, oh, if I do this, then my credit card is more likely to be denied kind of stuff. I mean, it's more likely to be debanked and stuff like that. It's like that should not at all be allowed. And I think there is actually something in 2 bills in Congress, one in the Senate, one in the House, I don't remember what their names are, that would basically be to payment processors, hey, guess what? If the purchase is legal, you process it. Which should just be how it is, but unfortunately that's not how it is. Yeah. Hey, just... Yeah. But I mean, I guess the way to put it is this. There are already people out there that if you dress a certain way, if you talk a certain way even, they make judgments on you. And the idea of a social credit score is basically that is officially being done. And it then allows, based on, oh, your score isn't high enough, we can deny you this or that. It is all about divisiveness. It is all about prejudice. That, like, making that an actual legitimate system. There's nothing about that is good. There's nothing about that is healthy. Not in this way, not in this form. So yeah, it's hopefully somebody says to YouTube, hey, guess what? You implement that system, we are going to shut you down. That this is a gross invasion of privacy. It doesn't matter if you're claiming that, oh, well, we're a private entity. It's like, no, you cannot do this. You must provide alternatives if you are going to try to force the system. And it's also YouTube is also really screwed up, because there are things where it's like, you shouldn't really be getting away with that. But they allow it. And I won't mention some of those that I have heard about. But it's also, I remember, I got one video. It's actually funny. I had one video that they decided to restrict access to it on. But it's funny because in that video I talked about a story that I'd read, but the videos that I have also done where I went chapter by chapter through that story, no issue with. So it's like, so I'm allowed to talk about the content of this story in one place, but not another. What's the content of the story? Well, the story is an autobiography. Well, no, sorry, just a biography, not an autobiography. He did not write it himself. He was involved with it, but he did not write it himself. Of a British sergeant major who was a POW for the bulk of World War II. So there was stuff concerning the Nazis. There was stuff concerning the British as well, I guess you might say. Yeah, it okay. Other things in there, and it's like, yeah, there is some intense stuff in there. And apparently YouTube decided, nope, that's not acceptable in this situation, but in that situation it's fine. It's such nonsense, and you're telling me that, oh, we can trust them to make these judgment calls for other stuff and just generally start harvesting as much information on you as is humanly possible. Well, not even humanly possible, but is possible for data centers to do. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did also see or hear somebody talking about concepts of net neutrality here. It's like the net neutrality rules, and this is part of the reason why they were never good rules that the FCC had put forward and then were taken away later. Those rules that so many on the internet thought, yes, we must have this. This is good. This will prevent all sorts of bad stuff. The net neutrality rules would do nothing against this at all, because the net neutrality rules only targeted ISPs. That was it. They did so. YouTube deciding, hey, we're going to lock out your ability to do certain things based on what we're just assuming is the case. Nope, there was absolutely nothing that would, nothing in those rules to stop that, because that wasn't an internet service provider. Okay. That was never about the net neutrality rules. They were never about actually guaranteeing access. They were only about being able to control and punish the ISPs. And if you don't think that they would then ultimately go to something like this as well, because it's like, oh, well, we're seeing that you have a lot of traffic here, here, and here. That must mean that you're likely a child. Therefore, we're going to start restricting your access to things. But that's not neutral. Yes, but we must protect the children. I mean, it's... Yeah. It's all about power. And it does not make sense to trust that this power will be used appropriately. Okay. Do we have a... Here we go. Wallace, what do you do? No offense, Wallace, but I want you to come over. Lock that door. Before any animals run in there. Because again, we have such a stupid system. But also with the net neutrality thing, that point that I just made is one that I had seen other people make at the time. I actually may stop about here. I don't feel a need to continue with the save here. Because I did see at least one person arguing the point that at the time those were being considered, that the problem is that, and this is very true, we don't think about ISPs. Okay, we those tend not to be what actually is involved with. Like, on the back end side, yes, they are involved with what we see, what we do, but we don't think about that. It doesn't matter if it's AT&T or Verizon. All we care about is where we're connecting to, right? In other words, it is actually in an ISP's interest to be neutral, to just let you view as much as you can. But what this person was pointing out was that the majority of the time what we're actually doing, for a lot of people at least, not so much me, I know my web addresses, but for a lot of other people, no, they just go to Google and look it up. Google is the one that therefore would control what you do and do not go to. And notice, Google has been under lawsuits, has suffered lawsuits before because, hey, why are you prioritizing these things over those things? Okay, because they have been found guilty of doing that, where they will prioritize things in ways that are inappropriate, that are anti-competitive. Things like, if you look up alternative web browsers to originally IE, now it would be Edge, Google would always make sure they were putting Chrome up at the top. Or that they would just always be promoting Chrome, even if it's I'm looking for what would be Opera, for what would be Brave, which is another Chromium browser, or looking for Firefox or some fork of that. Pardon for just a moment. So there's that. There's also things like Android used to be for quite a while. Basically, it would come and Google was the main search, and it wasn't always that easy to change. It's like, that's kind of stuff that net neutrality that would be against the premise of net neutrality, but the net neutrality rules would have done absolutely nothing to curtail. And by the way, one thing that I do just have to also remind people of anytime I talk about net neutrality, I want to bring this up. Part of the reason why there was a push for it was, so ISPs have deals with various companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, etc., where it's like, hey, we want to put in, you get so much traffic, we want to put in special servers that help manage that traffic, so that way, anytime somebody goes to visit your site, it is handled in the most efficient way possible. And that also means it doesn't have as much load on the rest of our systems. They'll go to these places and be like, hey, we want you to help us pay for them. 9 times out of 9 more so, they decide, yeah, we'll work this out, come up with a contract, money gets paid, and the servers are built. Yeah, so 9 times out of 9, that's how it would happen. Netflix decided to be the 10th. And Netflix is a piece of crap for this as well, which I'll get to. Because they decided it was with Comcast. No, you should just have to pay for that yourself. We are not going to we're not going to help you at all to better serve our customers and your customers. We're not going to do that. So Comcast was like, okay, we'll just start throttling you. Which is basically, more or less going on strike against Netflix, saying, all right, we're just going to reduce your experience. But hey, they also knew something. People are going to yell at Netflix. They're not going to yell at Comcast. Because it's true. The ISP providers typically in the background. You don't think about them. But Netflix got all pissy and started blaming Comcast, and that got everyone upset at Comcast. And it's like, we tried to work with them. They refused. Now we're applying pressure. So in the end, Comcast had to had to stop the throttling and just had to dole out all that money themselves. But here's the thing that people were not aware of at the time. And this, hey, Comcast, you violate net neutrality rules, so we need to punish you. Hey, Netflix, what about the treatment of Verizon customers at the time? It was later revealed, like years later, Netflix was throttling all customers on Verizon networks, including landline networks, meaning networks that your connection had no limitation. I mean, it's one thing to throttle a phone connection. Netflix was throttling everyone if the ISP was Verizon. Absolutely, and no one knew about this. This wasn't just part of I don't believe this was part of an argument either. It wasn't part of just some sort of, hey, we want money this way or that way. No. They were just doing that. I don't recall the reason why, but they were doing it for so long. No one got upset with Netflix about that. There was nothing complaining there. And that would have been under the net neutrality rules as the FCC had them, would have been perfectly legal. The FCC would have not been able to take any action against them for that. Okay, so just remember that if anyone's going to be like, oh, well, we need net neutrality, it's like the way those rules were written was completely biased, was completely against just ISPs, which by and large, they want the best experience for their customers. They want you to be able to access any and all things, right? Assuming it's legal. I have no doubt at all that an ISP, if they find out that there's like some truly illegal shit out there, they'll be like, okay, we will block the hell out of that, all right? And, make sure that no one can get... I'm sure they're comfortable with that, but that's completely separate argument from net neutrality. But stuff like what they're talking about with the scanning of faces and such, they're trying to restrict your access based on who they think you are. No, that's something else entirely that net neutrality would never have protected against. So, at least not those rules as written. And you really think that would have changed? No. That they would decide, oh, well, we're going to clarify these rules to stop that? No. Because who has more money? Google, Facebook, Amazon, they have way more money than any ISP. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just... Hopefully this stuff is stopped, because it is very clearly just leading to mass systemic censorship based on prejudice, and it is going to be used by malicious actors, because it's a way to have power over the masses who do not necessarily have power normally, who are also not malicious, who just want to live their lives. In other words, they're the easiest people to attack because they just want to be left alone. And if you leave them alone, they're happy. There is nothing about it that will be good. Hopefully it does get stopped. But until then, I'm just going to keep not logging into Google because, you didn't need it. So, see ya. And if that starts blocking my ability to view certain things, well, I probably didn't care enough to view them anyway. You're just going to make me not use you more, YouTube. I'm saying it already is. I have no problem admitting this. If I have the choice between watching something on YouTube or typically it's Rumble that I'll look to, I'll go to Rumble. Because I just find that a much smoother experience. I've had issues with like YouTube deciding, I don't want to load, or I'm gonna start pausing, I'm gonna start hitching on you randomly. I've not had that issue on Rumble. Now, true, Rumble has other issues with it, but it's still for just general consistency there. That seems more reliable to me. So, sure, give me a reason to go somewhere else. YouTube, great idea. That's a winning strategy. Hopefully, somebody will figure out how to actually compete with YouTube directly better. That is not Rumble at the moment. There's plenty of things they can still do. Anyway, that's enough of my blathering. See you next time.